Well, hello and welcome to a quick overview of Datascout for iMIS. It's conceived of as a chatbot for iMIS, and let's take a look at some of the basic functionality that we started with, and then we'll show some of the newer capabilities. Here we are at the bottom, just asking Datascout about some basic information out of iMIS. Who attended the most amount of events? Well, it's going out into your iMIS database and is returning who in that demo system had the most amount of events that they've attended. Now I can keep talking with Datascout. It told me Edward Flores had the most amount of events, so I can just ask, what have they attended? Here Datascout is actually pulling up a record, a mini profile of Edward right inside of the Datascout interface, including information about the events he's gone to, but a lot of other information about Edward. So I can keep continuing the discussion. And I'm actually going to ask Datascout here to help write an email to Edward referencing some of the events he's gone to, thanking him and asking if he'd be interested in having a further discussion with me or someone at the organization about upcoming events. So here we can see Datascout's actually crafting that email for me. And it has referenced the annual conference that he went to in 2022. And is thanking him and looking for the opportunity to discuss upcoming events. Now in the future version, we'd be able to send that email directly from Datascout. That's something we're working on. But here we can just ask it to store this as a note on Edward's profile in iMIS. It's going to go ahead and do that. So here we are actually updating iMIS directly from Datascout. And there's a lot of new capabilities along those lines that we're working on. So there, Datascout's confirmed it's add the note. I can go up and click on that profile link in that mini profile, and it's going to pull up their account page directly in iMIS, and there we see it. It's actually added that note exactly as we asked. Amazing stuff. Let's take a bit of a bigger look here at the Datascout interface. We have the dashboard capabilities at the top, just like you see in iMIS. And underneath, we've started to provide some suggested prompts to help iMIS users kind of get started with Datascout or start a conversation. One thing we've learned is that the average customer might not know a lot about how to write a good prompt, so we're helping them here. And you can imagine in the future these being specific to the person who's logged in or their role or their department. Here I've gone ahead and clicked on one of them, show me total members by chapters, and it's been sorted by the totals, and it's gone ahead and done that, looked at the iMIS database and showing me each chapter, the total members, and it sorted it in the order that I asked. Now, there's more suggested prompts underneath. So this is using AI to help craft responses to the information that it just provided, helping steer you into a really good conversation. These are just recommendations. You can go ahead and ask it anything you want, but this gives you different ideas about how you can interrogate your own data and have a really interesting in-depth conversation. And drill down into different aspects of your member information there right inside of iMIS. I've asked it, what is the distribution of members across different age groups? And how does the engagement vary? So it's given me the summary here of the different age groups that it's categorized and how many members are in each of them. Then a separate chart showing a table there showing the different age groups and their engagement scores. But even beyond that, it's gone ahead and done some analysis for me. It's showing me that the older age groups, 50 to 60 and 60 to 70, have higher engagement scores compared to younger age groups. Really amazing stuff. And I can keep going. I'm just having fun here, working with Datascout and learning all about what's happening inside of my iMIS system. The interface allows me to kind of store that chat for as long as I want, and I can even rename it to something that's more important. It gave me a suggested title for that chat, but I can go ahead and rename it and then start a brand new chat. I can have as many chats ongoing as I like. So here we're just asking it again to pull up a specific member and show me that profile right inside of Datascout. It gives me all the pertinent information about her, including like the summary demographic information, and then events. And we have the ability to add a note here, just like we did earlier. And our ability to do updates from Datascout will just increase on and on in the future. One really new enhancement we've added to Datascout, which would be useful across iMIS, is this concept of tagging. So here in the same profile, when we're looking at Teresa Knight, we can start adding tags. It could be a predefined tag that exists already, or we can just create one. Say we're having a golf tournament and we want to use Datascout to help analyze our data and see which members would be really good to invite to this. Well, instead of creating a new user-defined field and deploying it out in a panel and then updating it, we can just use this handy tag feature, which is a lot easier and lighter. And can be used by more members who aren't technical. So you go through and tag all the different members you want to with that tag, and then we can swap back over into the iMIS interface. We can just do that by clicking on yet another link to her profile. There's Teresa Knight's profile, and we have a Datascout tab, and we can see that she has tagged with golf, right? And so we've done one, we could have done 100. But once we have all the people tagged that we want, we can go over to our Datascout area of iMIS and choose the tags option. And there we can select the tags, and like you can have lots of different tags. You can do multiple tags. As a proof of concept here, we have 2 people that are tagged and we want to invite to our golf tournament. We can export it or just email them right here. All right, so very quickly with Datascout's help, getting insights into your data, define a group of members, and then take immediate action. You can have Datascout help craft the email to people about this, or use some of these pre-canned templates that are part of the marketing suite in iMIS. When I get sent, of course, it'll get logged just like other emails. So a really powerful new concept of tagging. Datascout knows it and can do it for you. Well, the next evolution was, instead of just having a chat window where we're interacting with, is to actually embed Datascout right inside of iMIS. This looks like a pretty standard dashboard where you see the different, kind of square elements, but all that text that you see there where my mouse is moving is information that's being generated from Datascout and is displayed in the dashboard. And you can put this iPart anywhere in iMIS and it can be contextual to the page it's on. So how do we do that? Let's take a look. We're going to go to Surf to Edit, and we're just going to pop it open like we do any other iPart and start configuring. All right, so the top of the iPart configuration is pretty familiar. You've have this on every different iPart, but where we get interesting is we have some ability to select a prompt, so you can have some of the pre-canned ones that we've done that'll help generate interesting data. Or in our case, we have this contextual with a specific prompt, and we've typed this in earlier. State the total revenue figure for the last quarter and provide it as a single value without breakdowns, comparisons, or formatted reports. Okay, so we've got to be pretty specific to get exactly what we want. But let's change it with something a bit more straightforward to see how we can update this. How many donations were there in 2022 and what was the total? Underneath that, we have the ability to have a formatted response. That's a WYSIWYG editor. So we can have this information presented out in iMIS in whatever format we're interested in doing. Underneath, we have the option to do some caching so that we're not making too many calls to Datascout to show the same thing every time the page loads. Another really ability to pass parameters such as an iMIS ID to get some more information, more contextual response from their profile. We see that in a minute. All right, so let's go ahead and turn off Surf to Edit and do a hard refresh to refresh the cache. And here we go. We're expecting to see some donation information, and there we do. We have it. So in 2022, there were a total of 2,574 donations, combined donation amount of $1.4 million. Really cool stuff. So where else? These are just some very beginning, early concepts of how Datascout could be all working right inside of iMIS, in all the different areas of iMIS. So up on the right here, we have a little button here that says view the profiles of Edward in Datascout, which we'll look at in a sec. But in Vision, we're going to have underneath the button, what courses should we recommend Edward? What insights, what risks do we have with Edward? What is the likelihood he's going to renew? But I clicked on the button to show the profile. We've seen a bit this before with Teresa Spain. It gives me all the real important, pertinent information that we need to know about him. And a nice tabbed interface where we can see the different events that he has gone to, and ability again to see add notes. But look, oh yeah, there's that note we added with that email summary. Last but not least, we had to show the rapid pace at which we're developing. This is just released this week, and we got it into the video just in time. And this is the ability to, within iMIS Rise pages, have Datascout draw graphs based on the information in iMIS. How do we do that? Well, create a Rise page, go to the custom folder, and we have a new iPart called Datascout Charts. Okay. Well, similar configuration that you've seen earlier with other iPrompts. And here we have the ability to choose pre-canned prompts. Now, we do have to be pretty specific here in terms of how the input information we're asking for. The prompt is written to get the data back from Datascout in a way that we can use to draw a chart. Remember, this is just new this week, and we'll be making this more accessible to less technical users. But as a proof of concept, showing what we can do is kind of mind-blowing. If you give it the right instructions, instead of just having those written words that we're looking at in the dashboard, we could have these charts. And so we've configured that iPart, and we're going to go to a new page, and we've published it there. I'm going to hit refresh, and it's just going to draw that chart that we were looking at a second ago. So, attractive chart, and the data is coming from Datascout. So I could have asked it all sorts of interesting questions to manipulate the data, in plain in English language to get this information. And as we hover over each data point, we see the values. So that was a bit of a marathon run in 10 minutes. And, it just shows the amazing abilities that the team has been able to create so far. We're adding new capabilities almost every week, so we'll have to keep updating this video, but reach out if you have any questions.